Insert 40-second intro with dance music. Got the 4200 back up on the stand, and we are starting to roll some stuff across the floor, so getting a little risky here. So the floor does roll really nice with the wheel dollies on it, and some of this heavier stuff I'm just being a little bit careful with yet. So the last video we did the Nissan Frontier 6-speed transmission using the FabBot adapter to a Colorado bell housing. Now we're going to be mating this stuff all up. I'm not going to do the flywheel and clutch and stuff yet. Well, I mean, I guess I could. That just hit me now. I guess I could do that. I forgot this stuff came in today, so I did get a Willwood Master LS1 slave setup. Kind of made up my mind that I'm not going to do that now because I actually ordered the wrong cylinder. So there's different types of slave cylinders. One has a removable bearing. This bearing doesn't really come off here, and it won't fit the spacer. So part of the FabBot kit, you remove this bearing, put the spacer on, and then put the bearing on top of the spacer. So that won't work at this one. So I contacted them. I'm going to try to order one from them. When I ordered the rest of the kit, it was out of stock, so I didn't order it. So I'm just going to bolt the engine up to the transmission now. I'll probably do the pilot bearing while it's out, and then we can start to mock everything up and figure out what we need to do for mounts. Alright, so got it all bolted up now. I might be able to actually use the Batty McBatterson short shifter. We'll try to do that and see if we can get it on without it interfering too much. Alright, let's get this thing in here. Here we go. Alright, so what we got is the shifter is going to hit back there, so what I'm going to do instead of taking the shifter off is we're going to move the chain and then angle it a little bit more and see if we can swoop it down. Alright, did a little bit of a swerve and lifted the back up instead. So changed it in the same position, lifted the back up, and then I was able to kind of pick up on the nose and get it down under. Now what I'm running into is the hoist is going to hit the hood, so I'm going to have to pull the hood off. Alright guys, well, we're learning things now. So the area from the sump of the pan to the top of the bell housing is actually a little bit too tight at this angle to get the head back. So I think what I'm going to have to do is either lower the K-member, or I'm going to have to install it without the oil pan on it. And then I should get enough clearance to clear the sump, swing it back, put the oil pan back on. I don't really want to have to lower the K-member if I don't have to, but taking the pans off kind of annoying too, but we might just have to do that on this thing, so we'll see. I'm going to keep working through this and I'll let you know what I find out. I cannot get the transmission up in the tunnel any farther than that, so I can't get it seated. Shifter is about to come through the hole, but we're pretty much wedged in there. This tunnel is really, really narrow, especially in this spot here. You can see it's actually kind of caved in, so I could probably use a BFH and knock that out, bubble that out a little bit. And I feel like that would actually work pretty decent. So we'll work on that. And by we, I mean me. So the front actually looks pretty good. It doesn't really touch. It looks like there's about 1 inch of clearance all the way around the bell housing. But now in the back where we start to get towards the sensors and all that other stuff, we're getting pretty tight. So this stuff's all touching, rubbing back here. So I'll do what I can to kind of knock that stuff out. And we'll go from there. Alright, well, a little air hammer did quick work on that tunnel. I feel like it moved each side in like 1 inch already. So I've only been working on it for probably like 10 minutes, maybe not even that long. So I'm going to put the engine transmission back in and kind of see if I got any more space in there now. Alright, so I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. I'm getting closer and closer. I did end up notching out this section for the balancer. Otherwise, I wasn't able to get it down low enough to lift the back end of the transmission up. The bell housing would like hit on the firewall, and then it would be kind of tweaked at an angle like this. So notch that out, and I was able to get it down enough like this and scoot it back a little bit more. I did put the weight down on the K-member just to see what kind of angle it's at with the rear end of the trans lifted all the way up. It's at about 5 degrees right now. I think what I'm going to end up having to do is space the K-member down. So I'll probably make some spacers for the K-member and then space that down like an inch, maybe more. We'll see how we got to do it. Trying to do as much as I can without having to actually modify, like cut the tunnel. I was able to beat it out quite a bit, and I feel like it's getting close. There's a couple ears and spots on the transmission that I might trim. Alright, this will be difficult to show, but the ear that I'm talking about is right here. There's not a bolt hole there, there's nothing on the back side of it there, but it is hitting in that spot, so I should be able to just shave that off. I ended up taking out all the wiring and all the sensors and everything there. 2 of the sensors I'm going to have to put plugs in, but those aren't hitting anymore. Then you got like this bolt up here is hitting, and a couple other spots. Overall, I feel like that opening for the shifter is okay. The shaft comes out in an okay spot. Apologies for the terrible video there, but it's really hard to see just kind of crawling around underneath there. So, plan going forward is shave that piece of the transmission, hit out those couple other spots. I'm kind of to a point now with the tunnel where I can focus more on small areas and then get those out a little bit more instead of just kind of broadly going over the whole thing. The bell housing seems good all the way around. I don't think it's hitting anywhere there. It's just those few spots. So the trick is going to be to get the rear end up a little bit higher and then get the front end to come down. And I'm going to have to space the K-member. So maybe I could get aggressive with that and do like 2-inch spacing and then just adjust the suspension. But I think for now I'm going to end it here. I'm not going to make very much more progress tonight, so I'll try to come back when I actually have a little bit of a better update.